Hello and welcome to the SFCA podcast. Our goal is to inspire travel. We want to expose you to what Miami and South Florida has to offer. From Key Biscayne to Coconut Grove, South Beach to Calle Ocho and everywhere in between. Miami is a vibrant city and offers a wide array of popular attractions and venues. Come join us. Thank you very much. A couple of other things that I'd done some research on. You may have alluded to it in your presentation, but if not, I just want to give a shout out to Zoo Miami. They're starting Zoo Lights on November 27th. Includes a million lights, animal-shaped lights, and a giant Christmas tree. Again, November 27th. Our friends at Jungle Island are cranking up again. They've relaunched as an Eco Adventure Park. More information is available on their website. And for those nightclubbers, because we know that Corona only happens after 11 o'clock, nightclubs are open. Check each individual nightclub for the hours and hours of operation. All beaches remain open. Movie theaters are open. Go to Fandango or your favorite popular movie listing site to see the times and locations of those movies. All city parks are open. And I know John alluded to it, but our friends at the museums, Perez Art Museum, Miami Museum of Science, and Vizcaya, most importantly, if you have the time, you have the resources, please go out and visit them. They need the participation and your support. All malls will be open starting on Black Friday. They will be closed this year on Thanksgiving. Finally, I don't know who shops on Thanksgiving. It's a time to spend with your family, not shop. Although many people have been, from what I gathered through the news sources, many people have not spent a lot of money on dining and entertainment because they've been in this hibernation of sorts. So there's going to be a lot more money to spend on retail. So it's going to be quite an amazing shopping season, although they say a lot of it's going to be online. Aventura Mall will be closed on Thanksgiving, open from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Black Friday. Dolphin Mall will be closed on Thanksgiving, open from 8 to 10 on Black Friday. And Lincoln Road will have their daily hours from 10 to 11 starting on Black Friday. So we're going to our questions now. Some important questions that I'm sure a lot of people have been pondering. With Thanksgiving Day just days away and the CDC advising travelers to stay home, but yet airlines are on an uptick, although there have been quite a few cancellations. We had just yesterday over 1.1 million passengers registered through the TCA system throughout the TSA system throughout the United States, which is the federal regulation system that everybody checks into to get onto your planes. And any word on the hotel bookings, how the hotels are doing for this coming weekend, and more importantly, into what was Basel Week? John?
Yeah, that's a great question. And something we're checking on a daily basis. Now, one of the things that we do know, especially during Thanksgiving, is while lots of people travel, many people are traveling to stay with family. And so we've seen a slight increase in some of the hotel bookings, but it's not what you would expect during the volume of travel that happens during this time. Now, as we were looking to Basel Week, there is a slight uptick in the number of bookings, but again, it's nowhere near what it has been historically in the past. In fact, year over year occupancy is going to be down somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 to 60% from what it was last year. Now, again, last year was a boom year. We broke records during Basel Week. So we had all of our international travel was on at full tilt with full capacities. And we're still not seeing that. We still have a lot of restrictions in place when it comes to international travel. And of course, as we've seen in the news on a daily basis, the news of the increasing cases here in the US does not bode well for us. However, there was a great study done by Destinations Analyst, which does consumer sentiment surveys. And the news of the Pfizer and the vaccines that are on the way is increasingly positive. And travelers are setting their sights on 2021 and are eager to get out there and start traveling again.
Yep, and they're setting their sights on beach locations, and that's us. So we shall be very, very busy. Any update on the cruise lines? I know the CDC released and then they pulled back, and now the cruise lines. I heard just recently that Carnival's not programming their 7-day plus cruises until well into March or April of next year.
Yeah, what we're finding from the cruise lines is, again, they're going to be doing a lot of testing of their protocols and their systems. We've even heard from looking for test cruisers to get out there and be some of the early guinea pigs to get on the ships and see how the systems work. The CDC is going to be watching them very, very closely. And like you have mentioned, we have also heard that the longer itineraries are probably not going to come out right away. It'll be further down the road once they, get their protocols and systems in place for safe travel on board those cruise ships.
Okay, so regarding the test cruises, if you need any guinea pigs, as long as there's free mojitos, I'm there. Just sign me up. Ceci, any update on your end regarding the hotels and the beach and Ocean Drive? Have you heard any buzzings?
Miami Beach is a little different. We have a more conservative commission. They follow stricter guidelines, not as much latitude, but we're open on Ocean Drive. We have got, some of our venues. There's only really 4 kind of entertainment clubs. People think it's the entire drive, but it's not. But the Palace is up and running. So that's one of our, gems in the entire city, actually the county. So the Palace is up and running and they have their brunches. And I was there the other day and, it's just lovely and it's very safe. And the food is amazing. Top 10 brunch in the country. Went to the Avalon for dinner. Again, the Avalon just opened. So some of these places are slowly opening. We are finding that our hotels, the capacity is getting better. The ADR isn't where we would like it to be, but at least there's some capacity. So there are people working, right? They're getting people and employees into the hotels and the restaurants, which is great. Everything is tenuous. We just kind of don't know what's going to happen. We have a new mayor in the county, different regulations. We're hanging, New Year's Eve. Is New Year's Eve going to have a midnight curfew? Right? That doesn't seem like at 11:30, hey, here's your check, you have to leave. That doesn't seem like that's going to be very conducive to a New Year's Eve party. We are looking at fireworks. I know Biscayne Bay is going to, or Bayfront Park, I think, is going to have fireworks. We were told that we could have fireworks on South Beach, but I'm telling you, it hasn't been a good season for us. We haven't bounced back. You have to go out of your way to come to Ocean Drive. There's no cross streets. There's no, I'm on the way to something else to get there. It's very dependent on hotels. And they're small boutique hotels. So people feel safer in bigger areas, the Lowe's maybe, but some of these small boutique hotels are just not conducive to spreading out. So it hasn't been a real strong bounce back for Ocean Drive in particular, or the MXE or the South Beach District. So we're seeing, we're seeing other places be maybe more successful. Maybe Wynwood is a little more successful. Maybe Brickell is being more successful than what we are at Ocean Drive, but we're very hopeful. I just got off a land use committee meeting because they're looking at the reimagining of South Beach, which is the Ocean Drive, Collins, Washington area. So we're going to see great things come out of that because we have an urban planner on board, and we're looking at, how can we take this wonderful historic district, the Art Deco district, which is a huge attraction, maintain it to a higher standard, and keep it a destination, right? So we're in the process of all of that, but quite frankly, how are we doing? It's a slow crawl up.
Okay. And we still have the curfew from 12 to 6. That has not changed, and it's going to continue on the beach, correct?
It's on the county. It's the county.
On the county now?
Yeah,
It's on the county overall.
The city is following the county. So this is our, this is where we're perplexed. We see people on the mainland in the city of Miami and other places that are open till 5 o'clock in the morning. And people are constantly asking me, oh, how come their regulations are different from ours? It's not. It's a county regulation. Whether people are following them or not is different, right?
But Miami's playing by its own rules as long as they do the masks and the social distancing to a certain degree. Now, I heard there was a rumor that the new mayor will be imposing a watch guard, so to speak, to monitor all the masks and social distancing. And if they see that there's an uptick and a disregard for the current code, that they may impose a even more stringent curfew throughout the county. Have you heard anything to that effect?
I keep hearing rumors, right? She's going to impose tomorrow an 8 p.m. curfew. My phone blows up all the time. I haven't heard that she's actually going to do anything, but definitely she has put the word out that if situations call, she will take action.
Okay, yeah, because the whole country is up in arms in the sense that we've seen an uptick and people want to get back to the normal lives, but at the same time, we need to respect the professionals, the scientists, the healthcare workers, and stating that the numbers are increasing. It's a known fact. In fact, they're higher than ever.
The numbers are interesting, but you have to really take a look at where that's coming from. Like you said, I keep saying, the virus doesn't magically become more infectious after midnight, and it's not more infectious on Ocean Drive or in the restaurants than it is at Kmart at 10 o'clock in the morning. So some of these regulations are appeasing, the fact that people have to go and get their necessities and everything else. So, but they're hypocritical in some ways too, because they're just not logical and they don't make any sense. So, for me, if especially in a city and a county that is dependent on the tourism industry, those things have to take into consideration. What's the economic impact? Why this and not that? Why midnight? Why does it magically happen after? I don't see that. What's the difference between midnight and 2 a.m. is when most of the restaurants close normally. Right? So why would you impact them? And then a lot of restaurants really don't make their money. They make their money between the hours of 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. We have international visitors who are European and they're South American. They spend all day, at the Vizcaya and all these wonderful places. And then they want to go have dinner with their kids and they don't even show up till 10 p.m. So if I'm going to go and have my seating at 10 p.m., but I have to be gone by 11:30 for my check and midnight off the street, what's the difference between midnight and 2? What's that huge difference? There really isn't. I mean, I can see the clubs till 5 o'clock in the morning. I get that. Sure. I understand that Mango's still isn't open. Mango's isn't going to open until it makes sense for them to open because they are a nightclub. They are a 5 a.m. club. They have 250 employees and they don't want to start, stop, and not be fair to everybody. I get that. But I've got 48 restaurants on Ocean Drive, 35 hotels, more or less, about 70 in that 3-block district of South Beach. Why midnight? For me, I don't understand.
Yeah, it doesn't, there's no real logic behind it. Maybe it's political, who knows? You alluded to the fact of Christmas and New Year's, Ceci. John, what's your input on what's happening around Christmas time and New Year's? Have you heard anything on your end?
Well, certainly there's a lot of organizations that are starting to, come back with programming. The Miami City Ballet will actually be in Doral and be doing an outdoor nutcracker toward the leading into the Christmas holiday. And so we know that's happening. The Arts Center has begun in-person performances in a social distance manner. Many of these performances are taking place actually on the stage where they can spread everyone out in a very limited capacity. The artist Deborah Cox is doing a concert on December 19th at the Arts Center, a holiday concert. And so, people are putting together events that can be properly distanced. There's going to be some drive-through Christmas light experiences that historically happen throughout our community. Those are moving forward just like they did during the Halloween time period. So, what activities do happen in an organized fashion will be in an outdoor and very limited capacity. So I encourage anyone who's looking for something to do to plan early and get your tickets early so that you can make sure you can get admission.
Okay. Also, I forgot my notes. December 17th marks the opening of Big Bus Miami. They're going to be back out and about around the streets. You've probably seen them driving around with empty buses because they're doing their marketing campaign for the wraparound marketing that they have on the buses, but they will be taking passengers officially as of December 17th. So hopefully that'll be the new beginning of our comeback, so to speak.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Ceci.
We're going to have the South Beach Jazz Festival. So we are pulling the trigger. We are going to have the South Beach Jazz Festival, which I'm on the board for, but it's January 8, 9, and 10. And they have reinvented how they're going to do things. On Lincoln Road, they're taking those golf carts and the musicians are going to be moving instead of people going and clamoring around the musicians. So they're reinventing how they're going to do this, but we are going to have that on 8th, 9th, and 10th. We're looking at something similar on Ocean Drive. We had kind of a motion on Ocean idea because it's close to vehicular traffic to maybe have those golf carts driving around with the musicians so that you don't necessarily pull groups together. And that is the key with the social distancing. They had the outdoor cinema was going, and they had the circles. So you
Yes.
sat in the circle, and those circles were distance away from other people. There are wonderful ways, and we are built on special events, and this is season. So there are ways that you can still have your event, but put protocols together so people feel safe, they are safe, and the city will approve it. So it's definitely pulling the trigger on a lot of South Beach Wine and Food Festival is going to happen.
That's going to happen in the same capacity, or that's going to be reinvented as well?
It's going to be a little bit reinvented. I mean, you're going to have the same, they came in and explained it to us, but they're going to have the same major events. It's just going to be more distance, less
Capacity.
less kiosks together. They're going to be much more distant, less people that are actually distributing and being part of the show. So it's going to have less capacity. They definitely aren't bringing a lot of people in from Europe for it. It's going to be much more local based, which is great for our chefs and our restaurants. We're paying for our food. So it's going to focus on what we have right here, but they're definitely going to do something. And it's going to be, again, on the beach, which is wide open. The tents are huge. There's definitely going to be a lot of social distancing. So if you are part of that, why, you go every single year and you can't miss it, you can certainly go again this year.
Okay.
Ceci, are they going to, have you heard any news about Art Deco Weekend? I know that I still see it on the site.
They're going back and forth with it because of how this is like the fireworks for Ocean Drive. They said we could have them, and then they're going back and forth depending on the increase in COVID numbers. This city is much more conservative than some of the other cities are because we're also the attraction, right? And so we bring the most amount of people, and numbers of people in intimate spaces aren't really great news for COVID right now, or the elected officials that have to deal with that. The other part of it is, listen, our first responders are being exposed because they're the ones that are having to enforce this. So when I have a police force that only has X amount of people and 20% are out with COVID, they don't replace those. It's just, and then I have residential neighborhoods that are saying, why is my police force, my code enforcement, why is that all reduced because of all this tourism? So these are the measures. And, right now it's challenging to be an elected official. You have that responsibility for the economy, and you have that responsibility for the public safety, and you have to measure that. And there is no roadmap for this. We haven't seen this kind of a pandemic in over 100 years, right? So I feel for them. I work with them. We know how far we can go. We have to understand where the limitations are, and we just have to collaborate together. So I think that's where Art Deco Weekend is right now. The Jazz Festival is music. It's not a huge weekend standing out there bringing people. And also you have to understand that Ocean Drive is closed to vehicular traffic. So my cafes are already extended. So there's a less place to congregate when you do, the street is closed, but usually the cafes didn't extend. So you had the entire street for Art Deco Weekend. Now the street's closed, but you have cafes extended. So now you only have a small place that people can congregate, even though you have a park, but they like to congregate in the street. So everybody is weighing what they're going to do, including MDPL and Art Deco Weekend. We just don't know. I mean, I think they're hopeful that they can do it.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah.
What about the boat show? Any, as I understand, it's been canceled from what I heard?
It has. Yeah. They're postponing the boat show here in Miami for another year. And again, so much of the economy and industry behind the Miami International Boat Show was the international buyers. And so, without that body of people that are going to come and buy $1 million yachts, it becomes a question of, is it financially viable to move forward with the show?
Right. And as far as international travel, any update on when that will return in piecemeal or as a big bust or boom?
It's still a moving target. And again, as our national caseloads continue to spiral out of control, countries are not willing to open up at this time. We need to see our numbers go in a different direction before other governments around the world would be, willing to lift their restrictions. And, we are the hot spot currently. And so it's not a good place to be for international travel.
Gotcha. All right. Are there any questions from the audience? regarding what we discussed or anything else? I know I'd answered while the presentation was going on a few. We will be sending you the links for the Convention and Visitors Bureau, that very in-depth calendar that John had alluded to, that showed. That's on the GMCVB website, correct?
Correct, MiamiBeaches.com.
Okay, and then Art Circuits has their own site as well. You can download the app.
Yes, artcircuits.com, and that's where you can find that entire guide.
Okay, cool. Well, there's no questions. I'd just like to close by saying Thanksgiving's a time of giving and a time to say thanks. Give what you can, when you can. Give it to those less fortunate. Every little bit helps, and all you need is love. I want to give thanks to those that made a difference in my life this past few months, if not longer. I'd like to thank our board of directors for the SFCA, our panelists, John and Ceci, who've been here a majority of the time, as well as our past panelists, Gisela and Rolando from the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. And most importantly, each one of you. This morning when you woke up, you made a choice either to be on the call or be off the call. You chose to be on. So you've made sacrifices to be here, and I certainly appreciate it. So may the joys of the season enrich your heart long after the turkey stuffing and cranberry wears off. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. God bless. And until next time, be safe. Mask up. Take care.
Hi, everyone.
Bye-bye. Our goal is to inspire travel. We want to expose you to what Miami and South Florida has to offer. From Key Biscayne to Coconut Grove, South Beach to Calle Ocho, and everywhere in between. Miami's a vibrant city and offers a wide array of popular attractions and venues. Come join us.